with the AI, you got to be extremely specific. The more details of everything you tell it what you want to do, to the point where you're almost writing the code yourself, it'll make compilable code, but you have to be that crazy
Well, see, that was just
precision on it.
how I phrased something the same way with both platforms, and it was make code that turns on an LED, make the LED green for 10 seconds and red for 15 seconds. And Bard, with the exception of having to make like 2 lines of code change, because it put it all in the startup, so I just had to copy those 2 lines down into the loop so that it.
Yeah.
But then I told it, I said, "Oh, I want it to flash," and it shot code back to me, and it was in the loop, and I was like, perfect,
Yeah,
or almost perfect.
yeah. It was like,
And
more
GPT it just
yeah.
couldn't do it. It was like, I don't know what its deal was, but it did not like that.
They took a lot of hits so that some of the 0-day
Can-
malwares.
Can you hear us, Art?
I certainly can.
You can't see us, but you can hear us.
Yeah.
Really, if you want to do programming on those platforms, I think you have to have a subscription now.
It's fine. I literally wasn't trying to program. I was trying to see how
Yeah,
close it could get, because everybody kept saying it would do it, but they had to make lots of changes. And what I saw, I didn't really have to make all that many changes. I had to
yeah.
move a couple of things around.
I have a
But what I wanted it to do was fairly simple too. It wasn't like a ChatGPT just lost its freaking mind.
well, that's I've got a, I don't know if it's a Udemy course or a LinkedIn course, but somebody did like a rapid build of a commercial website using ChatGPT back like before it went open to the public, or
Yeah.
right around then. And it did an ungodly and impressive job in like nothing flat to see. It's like copy and paste and do a tweak here and there. But you gotta know what you're doing to be able to know where the tweaks need to go. You know? But I mean, he rapidly built like this commerce site in like an hour.
Almost everybody that I have,
Right.
almost everybody that has tried to code with it says you need to know how to code.
Yeah.
It will help you, but it won't teach you.
It will help you learn very quickly how to do some stuff, but it will not.
Well,
I think it's capable of doing, or there are other versions of AI out there that can do the coding
That was actually
that they've taken away from the public.
the thing that I noticed about Bard was, if you don't know how to code, at least its code worked.
Yeah.
It may not be what you want, but at least it worked.
So it gets you in a lot better ballpark.
And
But
and it would have been easy for a beginner to go in and go, oh,
yeah, start understanding.
I see what happened, because it actually annotated certain sections.
Yeah.
You know, you asked for this, and this is why I did this. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, at least it's telling you why it's doing it,
Yeah,
or telling you to go and verify because it doesn't know.
well, yeah, I've done a little bit on both for coding, and I would agree Bard's a lot nicer now than that with GPT, but Bard seems a little more bougie and less sophisticated, but it gets the job done. Trying to do.
Bard doesn't really need to be sophisticated.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you're,
It needs,
depending on what you're trying to do, if you want real technical stuff, Bard will say, hey, I'm just a,
I'm just a chat.
I'm just a chat
I'm
bot,
just a
blah, blah, blah,
language.
you know.
I'm just a language
If you ask for
interpreter,
real technical stuff in chat GBT, it would come back and be a very technical paper.
except that it will be wrong most of the time.
Well, there might be now, so I haven't used it for a few months, but it used to be pretty dead on.
It used to be better.
Yeah. I was like, when I first started playing with chat GBT, I threw some pretty hefty metallurgical engineering and some other engineering problems at it, and they came back with really good solutions. So I was shocked. That's what, it kind of freaked me out the first few days. And then it got an update, and it got worse, and it got another update, and got a little worse. And then it's like, things started getting a little like it would be repetitive when it stops saying or starts saying, I can't answer that. Or you're asking an illegal copyrighted in question, and it's like
me and my dad were somewhere and we were reading a news article, and the news article started to repeat, and I'm like, yep, that was written by AI. And he said, how do you know? Because AI repeats itself. It doesn't know. It doesn't know any better.
well, that or it's one of those foreigners just copy and pasting other people's crap together.
Yeah.
That somebody paid them a nickel to do a
This was
300 word article.
This was like from a legit news source. It
Yeah.
Somebody should have
yeah.
edited it.
Yeah. Well, that's
No matter if they paid the guy a nickel to a word or chat GPT.
half the reason I've stopped my security meetings is the lack of sponsors, but the amount of articles on how to, what's going on in the world have stopped. It's all carbon copy. Everybody says the same exact crap. Nobody has any
Yeah, I was
real
reading.
new information.
I was reading something.
It's scary.
I was reading something today, an article today, and down at the bottom it listed its sources, and I'm like, I knew I had read this somewhere else, and sure enough, it was on a
A
legitimate.
regurgitated article from
Yeah,
somebody else.
it was almost word for word.
Yeah. I can look at like 4 different security forums and read the same trash, nothing substance article about a hack. And it's like
4 different times.
Yeah, on these 4 different sites, and there's nothing in them that tell you what the hell happened. And I'm like, 8 months ago.
Best I can do.
Oh, that's great.
It says Pepsi on it, that's okay.
It was real article, real news.
A can of Pepsi. He has
No bottles anymore?
That's all I had, was a choice that or nothing. I said, I think he's desperate enough.
I'll go with the can. They had do you guys see the Paul Mitchell and Gene, whatever his name is, sold off Paul Mitchell and retired. And so Paul Mitchell was built with this Gene, somebody or another. They were interviewing him, and it was real interesting because in our interview, it was very interesting to watch because they had gotten an investor for $500,000. So he sold his cars, while he was getting divorced. So he gave his ex-wife everything, gave her the car, left her the house and the kids, and he bought this clunker and had like $100 in his name and was traveling to New York. And the sponsor or investor pulled out. So all he had was that clunker and $150, and they're starting Paul Mitchell. And anyhow, he goes on through everything, the story of how they managed to make it. I guess at the point of sale, it was valued at $5.1 billion. And he won't say what he got, but he cut a check for like 500 million or 50 million and created a new charity for helping people. But what he also started Patrona, the tequila.
Oh, okay.
So like after like 7 or 8 years Paul Mitchell actually got off the ground, was making money. He had an architect buddy lose his job in the housing collapse or whatever, started traveling back and forth to Mexico, and he found this, that guy had met this dude that makes tequilas and he made the smooth tequila. So he hired this guy to make a super smooth tequila, and he said that trying
That's
to,
illegal, isn't it, or something?
well, so
Not if you pay taxes on it.
he well, they bought like 12,000 bottles off this guy out of Mexico and started trying to sell them here in the States. The problem is it cost them $36 a bottle back when tequila was like $4 a bottle in the States, because because you didn't just drink tequila back then. It was like you took a chug of tequila and then you did the salt and then you did the lime, right?
Yeah,
And it's this stuff you could like. I don't drink, so I don't know how much better it is or smoother, but it's like the premium of tequila, and they had such a hard time selling it and getting it off the ground and everything. And they said, they went to different distributors. They wouldn't touch it because it was too expensive, and then they finally started getting in the door at like Seagram, or not Seagram's, Jack Daniels, and it still wasn't really taking off. They were making a few thousand cases, selling through them. But he was friends with Clint Eastwood.
Oh, yeah.
So Clint Eastwood called him up one day and said, "Hey, you still dating that Ellie girl?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Would you like to come to the premiere of my movie?" And he's like, "Sure." So he set him up for a red carpet premiere. And he said they got to sit in the front row beside the producer. Clint Eastwood was at the release in New York instead of out on the West Coast. But said it was a great day because they got free popcorn and all they could drink was Pepsi. And he said, back then, you only got Coke in the theaters, but we got Pepsi.
Got Pepsi.
It was like halfway through the movie, then they got Clint Eastwood's in there drinking Patronus, all he's drinking in the whole movie, and they got it sitting on the coffee table, so after that it started, started moving. Turned that into like a $2.5 billion business.
that's a cute fox.
It is.
Ooh.
It's a surprisingly heavy box. This is the densest thing I've made.
Oh,
Oh, you got your mod on.
Huh?
You got your modification done too.
It's just one, not all of them. But there. You really can't slide this thing.
Yeah. Well, the rubber feet.
Pick one rubber foot.
One rubber foot.
Yeah. The whole bottom is a rubber foot.
Is it? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it doesn't slide. And that's why you can't slide it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Don't want it
is.
sliding off the table.
It will not.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You're not gonna run fast with that thing. So, yeah, and that over.
Let me see this.
I don't know if my children can take it.
Oh. Is it really?
It-
Holy cow.
Yeah, don't pick it up by that fan, please.
Yeah. Oh, good gravy. Is this the metal box thing that you've been talking about
Yep,
building for a while now?
that is it. That is going to be a storage array.
Oh,
It's the box I'd like to build. I haven't spent the money on to build.
End to end with 8T drives is gonna be just over $1,200. Which, 40 terabytes of raw storage, 30-ish after all is said and done. And that's with a terabyte of NVMe storage as well, in RAID, is RAID.
5 drives.
Mhm. Currently, only 2 of them are 8Ts, the others are 4s. But one of them's dead, so. But every time I put in another 8T drive, I rebuild it just to know more about putting it in, and each time it's a different install. Though playing around, I'm almost certainly gonna go with FreeNAS,
Sorry.
not Core. The next one up. The Linux version.
is Is the weight the hard drives or is it the case
Mostly.
or
Oh, the case weighs 4 pounds.
it's the hard drives?
Yeah.
There's 5 hard drives, so.
Thing, it weighs like there's 5
It's
hard drives.
surprisingly dense, isn't it?
Yeah,
So that's got 4 2.5 gig network connections on it. And I found an 8-port 2.5 gig, actually 9-port 2.5 gig switch with 10 gig. Yeah. Which I've got a 10 gig card in my server, and then there will be extra 2.5 gig ports left over. And I may be able to use that thing as a switch also. Or a router rather.
How much is that level?
Oh, the switch,
Yeah.
another 150, 200, somewhere around there.
Another 10 gig.
Yeah. Ooh,
Well, you're gonna lose 4 ports, but are you bonding all 4 of those onto the
Mhm.
switch?
yeah, I'll bond the 4 out of here directly to the switch. That gives me 10 gig to the switch, 10 gig back to the server, and 4
Whatever.
2.5 gig ports to do whatever with. That's nice.
What brand is that?
This is a Panasonic.
Your switch?
Oh, I don't know. Something off of,
AliExpress.
yeah. I'm not sure what I think so far, but
hold down, hold down.
Yeah. Oh, yours has a button on it. Mine does not. How do they?
The button, if you're using X whatever, external, it turns it into an erase.
Or a other click.
Yes,
Right click.
yes. If you're not using external.
So have you got your rotation working now?
Well, it's better. It's got something to do with the compositor. It's at the point that I can live with it being. I noticed yesterday when I was using it, it seemed like its calibration went off a little bit. It had been pretty solid.
Stay a half inch above.
Yeah, I'm not real sure what happened or why it went off of calibration a little. So what I did, so that thing's got both finger touch and finger touch no longer works
Weird. How'd you do that? And why?
because I hated finger touch.
Oh, okay. So that finger is capacitive and this thing is magnetic, I think.
I'm not real sure how that works. I like it better, but when it first starts, the finger touch will work, but it runs a script real fast and it X input,
Mhm.
and I turned it off because when you're trying to write something and you've got finger touch and you've got the stylus.
Yeah.
So at first I was just going to turn it off when I was using external, but then I got to the point where finger touch really was just, and for whatever reason, finger touch is a different calibration setting than the Wacom settings. So I just went the hell with it. I don't really like finger touch, and I turned it off.
I don't use this on mine much because, well, it doesn't have a button and I mean, it's mediocre.
You need the button because I don't have a keyboard, so it would be a real pain in the butt if I didn't have the button.
That's nice. That's very nice. I was looking for the auto rotate thing, and it isn't in any of the 4 places I expected it.
No, so my scripts work that are there on the desktop.
Mhm.
And by work, I mean, yeah, they're still, it's still a little wonky, but they do work.
You know, this thing will run cinnamon gracefully.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm just,
So it's.
I have always
processor.
used my mate or whatever.
Yeah, it's a processor on this.
i5, dual core, 4th generation. 4th generation i5,
It's
8
great.
gigs of RAM, 256 gig SSD.
Can you feel this thing?
It's healthy.
You pack some lead in there,
Yeah,
is that depleted uranium in there? Something.
It's healthy.
well, to make your workout.
My wife asked me the other day why depleted uranium was a thing in weaponry, and I'm like, well, the amount of energy that ends up in something has to do with velocity and mass, and that's it. If I threw a ping pong ball at it, would you be concerned? No. What about a golf ball? Well, that might sting. What about a ball bearing the size of a golf ball?
What about a baseball?
Yeah. No, we're trying to keep them all the same size.
Oh, the same size.
Because a ping pong ball of depleted uranium weighs 7 pounds.
Ouch.
Yeah,
That ain't gonna leave a mark.
that's gonna sting.
You know, for every 1 pound of Nibbler's poop, it's like 1,000 pounds.
Somebody watches too much Futurama.
Yes, somebody does watch. Somebody's conflicted on the new season of Futurama.
Oh, conflicted, why?
From my perspective, there's only been like really one good episode out of,
Oh, ooh,
yeah.
I didn't know they were still making it.
No, it's brand new.
Well, the real or
There's going to be 2 seasons now, 10 episodes a season, and they're on episode 7 or 8. But
they make it all woke and crazy.
not so much that, but
Just not, no writers.
well, no, it's really very, very topical as compared to some topical.
yeah, it's always pretty topical. You just hit it well.
The way they used to do it though, you could go back and watch those episodes and not really understand why they were good or whatever.
Mhm.
Where these, you kind of have to know what happened in 2020 to understand why they're doing virus things. It's I'm kind of mixed about, oh wow, that is pretty.
So
He can't, Art can't see that. Turn your camera on, Jen.
the motherboard in here is under $200 and comes with the processor.
What?
It is a 12th or 13th gen Celeron 4-core. There are many complaints online that the heatsink is poorly attached and inefficient. Mine doesn't seem to be overheating, but it's a thing I'll keep an eye on. I don't know. Doing wiring in it is pretty straightforward. It has a serial port over here on a 9-pin, which I was trying to figure out how to hook up the RS-232 interface chip, and it's got 2 USB ports right there, so I'll just use that. Initially, I was considering putting the OS on the USB, but pretty much everybody recommends against that anymore. So it has another drive there. So 6 physical drives, and well, 6 physical drives plus 2 NVMe drives. Yeah, it ain't lacking on storage or network, but no sound chip at all.
Don't need it.
I don't know.
Depends on what you're doing.
Yeah,
No.
there's 2 USB ports, so I can put a little USB sound card in there.
If it's a NAS, you don't need sound unless you want to hear it go bing.
But I've got music stored on it.
So you could turn it into a
Whole house
a network
system.
thingamabob.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I would almost argue that you would want a different sound card than what would come on the motherboard anyway. If that's what you were doing.
Yeah. Some of the USB ones are decent.
Well, I was gonna say, you could always use a little mini computer to be your speaker controller for the house,
And
not the data storage.
I'm not sure what I think of these things. Pulling out these drives is surprisingly difficult.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think this one's dead. So the little rubber stoppers on there are pretty soft. But you can't tighten the screws down. I think I'm going to end up putting little pieces of brass tube inside of those.
Yeah, when I pulled the cover off,
Mhm.
I wasn't real sure about the rubber.
I mean, nothing's going to fall out,
Right.
but the drives would rather not be connected to the SATA ports. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, too terrified. But those were folders. Oh, well.
SanDisk got nailed for a bad 4 gigabyte solid state drive. You just gotta see that.
Yeah,
It's a piece, turns into a piece of rock, doesn't talk anymore. It looks like their SanDisk is owned by somebody. They were going through a regular disk drive, named disk drive company like Western or whatever.
well, SanDisk is a pretty decent name. I mean, most of their stuff is okay.
Most of their stuff's pretty good.
Well, SanDisk, I only know them from SD, so that's all I know about them. I buy some of this. Did finally buy some third party 128 gig SD cards, and they're unknown company, but they are good so far. As good as a SanDisk. That pleases me.
Probably built at the same plant.
Yep.
They probably, yeah. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, I asked about the Micro Center brand, and they said they were SanDisks.
I don't know. I've not had good luck with the Microsofts.
I haven't had good luck with Microsoft.
Not Microsoft, the Micro Center.
Really?
They used to
I've
be
never
good.
really had a problem
Yeah.
with them.
But I'm doing, some,
Last 5 or 6 I've gotten have been shit.
Really?
I have lost far more than I've had stop working.
Yeah, that's, yeah, I pulled my keys out of my pocket and lost one. I have no idea where it went.
Mhm.
And it was
Yeah.
like a 500 gig
Yeah.
USB stick, and I'm like, crap. Don't carry it around in my pocket.
I lost one of the 128 gigs the other day, and Gail found it in the morning. It was on the floor, black side up. Okay. Jeez. But I've lost several of them.
Yeah, I don't know where most of mine have gone, but I don't know if Windows has done an update or something, but USB ports, I mean, I remember. I mean, they're USB 3 or 3.1 on some of those, and they used to copy 50, 60 megs. And now I can't get them to do over 10. So I don't know if that's something Microsoft rolled out or they've throttled the USB port for USB sticks or what the hell happened.
One of the things that they may have done, and it may be a setting that you can turn off, is they may be write a little bit, make sure it's still there. Write a little bit,
Yeah.
make sure it's still there, because people, you still can't convince people to
Click on,
eject the thing.
click on the remove safely.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me why the speed is horrifyingly slow. I mean,
I'm on my desktop machine that they're USB 3s. I've got one port that's a 2, but they're USB 3s, and one of the extenders I use, because they're all on the backside and they're a pain in the ass to get to. And one of the extenders I use slows everything down to a flip and crawl.
yeah, USB 2
It's
extender.
a bad cable or something. Because if I plug it into another one of the ports, it works fine.
You know, one of the options, is turn the computer around. What do you use more, the USB ports or the CD drives?
The power button.
Well, turning
It
it
turns it off.
turning it
Power
around will
company
be,
every time the power goes out because they're installing solar panels across the street.
it's an all-in-one, so turning it around isn't really an option.
Okay.
I never understood why they put all that crap on the back of something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the first all-in-one I had was a little bit thicker and it was all on the side. And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
I think that one that I gave you,
a lot
most
of
of it's on the side, and
a
it's
lot
got
of it's
two
on-
on the back
on the side, yeah.
and the two on the back were just for something like the
Keyboard. Yeah,
You
yeah.
put it in the house.
The old ones seem to have, you know,
Better layout.
well, they're a little bit thicker. And maybe that's because they had a CD-ROM in them, so they had extra room to add stuff, because
When I took it,
my new all-in-one is like razor thin. Other than the one USB-C port that's on the side that I never use because I don't really have anything that'll plug into it.
I've got a USB-C.
Everything's on the back.
USB 3.1 adapter with like 6 plugs.
Yeah,
That's handy.
I almost bought one, but it's just,
I got it from Fast Track for like a nickel.
yeah.
I wasn't even sure it worked because the first time I plugged it into my computer, the
So,
stuff wouldn't read.
you know, I use SD cards and all kinds of stuff. And I just have an adapter that I plug into the USB because it's a pain in the butt to reach behind the machine and
Oh, yeah.
plug in.
Man, I have most of my computer sits sideways because got so much stuff dangled off the USBs off the back because it's got like 8 ports on the back side.
Well, yeah, that's this all-in-one's got an ungodly amount of ports on the backside, but nothing on the sides or the front or anywhere that would actually make sense to have USB.
I actually bought a card to put them on the front of the computer because the case had a USB 3 and the motherboard didn't have a USB 3 jack. So I had a PCI card in there that
Or maybe we didn't lose we just lost Art's video.
would USB to the front.
Art's gone to the dark side. But it may be on the 15-minute thing like I am these days.
That you gotta hop up and walk around.
I go pee.
Yeah.
Seems like every 15 minutes.
So I keep hearing about new open sushi stuff happening.
Mhm.
And I remember trying it years ago. But I don't really remember why I didn't like it. I kept with
So-
the Debian.
OpenSUSE uses RPMs,
Yeah,
same as CentOS, Alma, Red Hat, et al. It's okay, but where CentOS just changes the pictures and the logos and the copyright information, SUSE also changes all the manual pages to your.
oh, that's not so.
They don't, but it felt like it to me. There were just places in SUSE that the instructions were very German. Just
Very.
you can't compress all those words together.
That those two words don't go together.
Yeah, but I mean, it's if you use it for 2 weeks, it's comfortable.
I remember when I first started getting into Linux, not OpenSUSE, but SUSE
Mhm.
was the only other distro that I could get to install correctly.
Well,
And
and Red Hat.
I never got Red Hat because I always had to buy it. I don't think they.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. You started looking at this later than I did.
Yeah, probably. Red Hat.
You used to
Red-
be
Red-
able to buy Red Hat Linux before it was Red Hat Enterprise Linux.
Yeah,
They went through the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. I bought it at Micro Center at version 4.2 as a package set with the book and the stickers and everything for $35 or $40. And this was on a Pentium 2, which was almost new at the time.
right.
It was a Dell G400.
Yeah, I think the first machine I started messing with it was probably a Pentium 4.
Oh,
So, but I remember, Micro Center had Red Hat
Mhm.
for sale, and I remember talking to somebody and they said, well, you could, if you got a decent connection to the internet, just
Yeah.
download Ubuntu. And
it's not the same.
well, no, but Ubuntu was my first exposure to a wider world of Linux that actually worked.
Red Hat has been pushing for data centers since the beginning.
Yeah,
They really have. And the thing that makes Red Hat worth what it is, and it is worth it, is if you have a problem and you're paying for Red Hat support,
There's Art.
they
Yeah.
will fix your
I
problem
knew we could see him.
in 2 hours max.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's a smoldering pile on the floor. If you can still log into it,
you
they'll
can fix it. They
Yeah.
can fix it. Somebody can fix it.
And it is amazing how good they are. You run an SOS report,
But-
you send that into them and they send you back an email that says type these 23 lines, copy and paste as this user.
But
and you're golden.
But as an enterprise user, that's what you want.
Yeah.
You don't want to be down for very long. You want to be.
I've never had a Red Hat box break to start with. Honestly, I am cautious. I have moved the root directory into /10. And oddly enough, your web server stops. I don't know why.
Oops.
I have broken machines enough that I no longer just type something and hit enter. I'm pretty darn cautious, and when I do a typo, it just doesn't work. But
Well,
it doesn't exist.
see, I was in the fixing business, but we fix mostly Windows stuff.
Mhm.
So I wanted to play with Linux. I knew about it. I had heard about it, but everything I had tried didn't work. So the guy down at Micro Center said, try Ubuntu. And
Yeah.
I did, and it worked. So, and of course, Ubuntu at the time, they were very happy that people were using them. I had emailed them or something, and at the shop, 100 Ubuntu CDs showed up, and they said, give those away for free.
Yeah.
And stickers and all kinds of stuff just showed up.
They still do that.
Yeah.
Today I got to play with hardware, which I like. We have a 1U HP 9th gen server with 8 2.5-inch slots in the front. And it has 2 drives in that, and those are 80 gig SSDs, and that's what it boots off of. And then under that is a 2U, 3U, I don't know, 25 bay array that is filled with 600 gig drives. And we went to turn off those drives. So I put in 4 terabyte SSDs today. And without taking the machine down, I rebuilt a new array, mapped it, formatted it, set it up for LVME or LVM, sorry. And it is now copying away. Had 15 terabytes of storage in spinning drives that we were only using 5 of. We're going to use those 600 gig drives in another machine as spares, but we'll get to power that whole thing down and move everything over to the RAID on that SSD set. That was fun. I should be able to shut down the database that's running, do a quick rsync between the 2 spinning drives and SSDs, remount with the new ones, and start up the database. And it just amazes me that this box without having to reboot it. And we have a team of people whose job I am the Linux guy at LCS. And we have a team of Windows guys, and we reboot most of our boxes weekly. And
Linux boxes can go for
years
without a reboot.
Yeah, this HP has 800 days on it, I think. It's happy.
There's no reason to reboot it if it doesn't want to be rebooted.
My Windows box. 2 days a week, I have to restart it. Because I sit down, I hit the space bar, and it doesn't say what's your password. It just stays blank. Like, what the hell? I've got a Linux box at home that I use as a desktop. And yeah, it's a slow processor, and it runs really quick with Linux. But the last time I rebooted it was when we had our last power outage.
This thing runs surprisingly fast for its age and what it is.
Yeah. One thing I would recommend is encrypted.
Okay. Just because,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't generally encrypt my stuff, but
yeah, but that you can leave somewhere on accident. And I don't know, I have one set of SSH keys that get me into anything.
Yeah.
And they have a passphrase. But the first time you use the passphrase, it stores it.
Yeah,
I don't know, so on this one,
I don't, I write notes on this more than anything else, but. You're, I mean, I could leave it somewhere.
it doesn't change how quickly it boots. On,
I could leave it somewhere, you know,
so,
I don't
I
wanna
have-
leave it anywhere, I like it. I like-
yeah, I have two keys. One is the password. And one is that.
Mm.
Either one will work. And
See, I'm actually considering trying to find some smart cards or something for that. Cause that would solve the problem too.
yeah,
You can't log into the system, you can't,
when I went up to Columbus last week, I left the little chip on. And I had to type in the password every time I restarted it, which was annoying. But if I
it's
get-
really annoying when you don't have a keyboard.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
but yeah, that little chip, if
I'm,
I know where it's at, I'm fine with it. If I'm at a convention, at a hotel, whatever, the chip stays on.
the stupid keyboard for the, I did not pay very much for the
Mhm.
this because the sound doesn't work. Sound works through the jack. I don't care, but I went to Price Keyboards.
As much as that.
More. How do you're better off finding one with a keyboard and buying it with a cracked screen than you are buying a keyboard for it. It's insane. It's. I do like how yours lights up. I almost bought one like your Adele, but I saw this one and I was like, you know, I don't really see a whole lot of technical difference between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's about the same processor.
Yeah,
But honestly, I don't know what the processor in this thing is.
well, mine is a, where'd it go? i5 4310
4310.
4310. 2 gigahertz times 4, which it's actually a dual core with hyper threading. But there are a ton of options that you can turn on and off inside the BIOS. And that was one of the first things I looked at was, did they turn the sound off? No, of course the sound's on. Sound just doesn't work. The touch screen on this, when it had Windows 10 on it, that the cursor was just moving all over the place. Nobody was near it. Nobody was touching it. I was like, oh crap. Do I have to send this thing back because the digitizer's bad? And I went ahead and I put Linux on it and I was like, oh, no, digitizer's not bad.
So this is a i3 7100, so 7th gen, but i3. List says dual core, so yeah, probably. Well, no, this is gonna be 2 threads.
Yeah.
But it's
8 gigs of
very
RAM.
comfortable to me.
8 gigs of RAM.
I don't know.
It doesn't count.
I don't. I mean, it honestly, it doesn't much matter.
No, but this has 8 gigs of RAM. And it's got the 256 gig MMV drive, which I saw somewhere they were selling a 1 terabyte MMV for it was ungodly cheap, and I was like, huh, I wonder if I can replace it. Do I really need more storage on this thing?
I'll say Micro Center about 3 weeks ago had them. 4 weeks ago, had an awesome sale, like 30,
Yeah, they were cheap.
like $29.
I was gonna say, I thought they were about 30, 35.
You could get Samsung for like 30. But the like that Western Bread or Western Digital knockoff was like 30, 29 or something.
Well, I almost went for it anyway because my desktop machine only has 256, but it's got 2 MMV slots, and I was like,
Yeah,
that'd be a nice bump.
they have the ones that have the little Wi-Fi. They actually make a 1 terabyte now that's like that big,
Wow.
little square stamp that can go in those Wi-Fi card slots. And those little microcomputer that's got one full length one and one short one. And then it's got a Wi-Fi on top on the backside, so you can still have all 3 if you wanted.
It's Vicente.
Hi,
So are you?
great. I was in a traffic jam, so I decided to turn around. I didn't make it to the highway, so
I'll never take the highway. Get off at Mostello, take the back road.
Mhm. It just happens to take you by Micro Center.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It's just
a
a coincidence.
necessary evil,
Okay, what's that?
but it shaves 20 minutes off.
The GPS.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have to do any funky thing
Yeah.
like you know. It just shows up as a serial port.
Mine does too, and I'm not sure what's up with it. I think it is lacking antennas, but I'm not certain. And yes, it's 8 gigs.
They're very similar in spec, though.
Mhm.
I mean, really.
And that's more traveling.
Yeah, I only had one bad comment on it. I took it to a class up in Columbus last weekend. And I'm asking one of the instructors, what's this mean? It's not a nice surface, like that is not a surface.
Do not insult my computer.
That is not a surface.
That is not a surface. I wonder.
Dell's surface, isn't it? Essentially.
No,
No, it's a latitude.
it's a latitude. It's a weirdly configured document.
It's an industrial / police
I don't know,
laptop.
but I'm saying it's, that's essentially what a Surface is. It's Microsoft's pile of knockoff junk, or ASUS's pile of knockoff junk. Or
Just stop.
I find it disturbingly that the first, second gen Microsoft Surface runs circles around their new ones. Their 4th and 5th ones are junk.
But what I find kind of interesting is just how similar the 2 designs are between.
Panasonic and Dell.
Yeah.
Panasonic's been
I mean,
there
there's-
for a long time.
Only so much stuff you can do to make it rugged.
Yeah.
Rubber corners is a big chunk of that.
Well, Panasonic's been making rugged
Mhm.
books forever.
Yeah, I had one. It was ancient. I think it was a C14. That the hard drive, a spinning hard drive, and a thick 2.5 inch, but it was that thick. It was suspended between 2 phosphor bronze springs. That was neat.
I had one that it was some sort of rubber,
Mhm.
and it was encased in this weird rubber stuff that it just floated in there.
Yeah,
I had one.
Impact gel.
Yeah, rubber isn't really what it was. It was
probably a sorbet thing. That was a brand name for a really, really good one. I remember going to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. And one of their demos, they had 3 clear tubes, 12 feet tall, I guess. And one was on air concrete, one was on carpet,
Mhm.
1/4 inch thick Berber, and one had a 1/4 inch thick pad of sorbethane at the bottom of it. And they dropped the balls from the top, and the one on concrete, geez, that thing went for a minute and a half. The one on carpet, thump, thump, like, went back up halfway up the tube. The sorbethane went thump, and it was just stopped. It was so cool. And that display is why I remember sorbethane.
Sorbet thing.
Made in Canada. And if you call them, they'll send you samples, which I've had them do repeatedly. I need a piece about 4 inches square.
You ready to see this thing?
Yeah.
I forgot the microphone, so we're going to have to maybe yell at it.
What it looks like.
Come on.
What did it say?
Multi-threaded, control-sided computer.
Wait a second, something's not working.
This is a demo of some of the half-marked sentences. My call-sided computer. You can say email, mail, read next, random, again, previous, hell.
Something stopped working. Next,
You can say email, mail, read next, random, again, previous, hell.
next. Computer. Next.
The boy was there when the sun rose. A rod is used to catch king salmon.
Of course.
The source of the new trimmer is the clear spring. Keep the ball straight and follow through. Help woman get back to her feet. A pot of tea helps to pass the evening. Smoky fires that flame and heat. The soft cushion broke the man's fall. The salt breeze came
You can
across
see
from
it
the sea.
moving.
The girl at the booth sold 50 bonds.
Maybe you're on the wrong channel.
It's coming through the RCA jack. What the heck happened?
Yeah, I'm plugged in, right?
No, I'm not. As a matter of fact,
You change the potentiometer of the
there it is.
vertical sync or something?
Oh, I just didn't have the
About-
the
yeah.
thing plugged all the way in.
Okay.
Computer. Next.
The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a
It looks
button on
really
the
good
vest.
over here. I don't know if you can see
The
it real
swamp
well or
time was
not.
far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. 2 blue fish swam in the tank. The berth was full of useless trash. The cold reared and threw the tall rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. Read verse out loud for pleasure.
It sounds like a computer voice.
Computer. I've got it. I've got it up on the big screen, Jim.
Okay.
Computer. Female.
Female voice said.
Computer. Next.
Hoist the load to your left shoulder. Take the winding path to reach the leg. With the size of the gas tank. Wipe the grease off his dirty face. Mend the coat before you go out. The wrist was badly strained and hung limp. The stray cat gave birth to kittens. The young girl gave no clear response. The meal was cooked before the bell rang. What joy there is in living.
I don't know. What joy is there in living? So
Sounds locked up.
what's locked up?
When I was there, the eyes, I just thought it was eyes just looking straight up.
It doesn't see a face, I don't, or if it sees a face, it sees yours up on the
Step on
screen.
my phone. I'm breaking it.
I don't know.
Or
I've had those little teeny tiny wires are a pain in the buttocks. I changed out the amplifier. So this amplifier actually had a microphone on it at one time, and I cut the microphone off, and that makes all the difference in the world. It's got an analog out. So now it's actually doing analog reading instead of taking a digital signal and reading it as an analog, or trying to read a digital signal as an analog, which is, well, duh.
a little better.
Well, duh. But the Movi is on an Arduino Uno, and it's an old speech synthesizer and voice recognizer that's running some sort of embedded Linux. And that's, I think it's using FLIT. The Linux speech synthesizer that's cheap. On the screen, I'm not real sure why it keeps getting little spikes. That's kind of weird. But there used to be, if there was no input coming in, it would just be a solid line, and I didn't really like that, so I added noise to it. So maybe the little lines are part of my noise, part of my spikes. So it's mostly working. The face tracker isn't really, it's always kind of been picky, but at least the eyes are working. It's locked onto something. I can't. So I turned the eyes upside down as you suggested, Vicente.
What?
You said to turn the eyes upside down.
Uh-huh.
And
Now, yes,
So
it's more friendly.
more friendly. Less frightening, more friendly.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy now. I mean, there's a couple of little tweaks that still need to be done in the code, mostly in the synthesizer code, but I could go back and try to kind of like how this display works. I didn't really change anything in the display.
We need a lot of work. Well,
But there's one processor on the eyeballs, one processor in the camera, one processor here for the servos, one processor for the display and the speech, one processor on the Movi board, and one processor on the Uno. So I have gone way overkill on processors.
Can't do it all on an Uno.
I can't do it all on. I wanted to do it all with an ESP32, and it the more I got into it, actually the Movi was kind of because I had got it working, and then I got down to it and I was like, well, I need something that the guy, the original, he used an Amazon Echo, and he opened up the Echo and was reading when the lights came on and whatever. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to go all that route and all that. Now I remembered I had the Movi, which was meant for the Uno or the Mega. And I said, okay, I could use it. that would work. And then as I tried to get originally I was just going to try to have the eyes displayed on an ESP32, and I couldn't get them to actually follow me. So then I said, okay, I will go ahead and put the servos on there, which led to its own problems because I couldn't get the servo driver to work with the original ESP32. So there's the second ESP32. And then I couldn't get the stinking voice input to actually work on the original ESP32. So I replaced it with that bloody thing, which is another ESP32, but it works. Because for whatever reason, I could not get this to, well, I know the reason. There's only so many output lines and input lines available on this, but I couldn't get this to read that. And then I would still have to display, so I would still have needed something else anyway.
So you're gonna have it looking like a pumpkin before Halloween or
I don't-
just
I don't know.
make it spooky?
Make it spooky. I could make the movie sing, maybe. Sing Halloween songs. I really don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's together. It's mostly it. I mean, I'm happy with its results. It's taken a lot to get it to this point. It was a lot more than what I envisioned.
We need a maker fair.
We need a maker fair, yes.
Yes, to show it.
Yes. This was a lot more than what I envisioned doing for this project, because I figured, oh, it should be simple. The TV's got RCA, I've got RCA, we can do this, and 6 microcontrollers later, it's to the point that I'm actually happy. So. Well, this has 5 volts. It's a 5-volt line, but the camera needs 3 volts. So I had to buy a stupid little step. And there were so many just little things that just getting in the way, you know. 3 volts, 5 volts, this volt, that volt.
That took robotics in 84 and 85. Everything was all different volts back then.
Wow.
Yeah. Engineer make this thing, this be 5 volts, that'd be a volt and a half, this piece would be 3 volt, that'd be 3.3 volt, this would be 4 volt, that'd be
Well,
power guy to even build anything back then.
I don't really blame this per se, because this system, the quick system, wasn't designed to work with this in the first place. I had to buy an adapter to make it work. I got the adapter, I realized, oh wait, this thing only works on 3 volts. If I put 5 volts to it, it's going to go pop. And I'm going to not be happy. Oh, really? Next.
The king ruled the state in the early days. The ship was torn apart on the sharp reef. Sickness kept him home the 3rd week. The white robe shimmered in the hot sun. The lazy cow lay in the cool grass.
That's not bad. That's
The square stone over the fence. The
pretty
rope
good.
will bind the 7 books at once. Hop over the fence and plunge in. The friendly gun left the drugstore. Mesh wire keeps chips inside.
Are you sure?
Didn't say friendly gun leaves the store.
A friendly gun leaves the store. Oh. But yeah, it was a lot of little things. And then, once I realized that the full size M5 stack wasn't going to cut it, and I had to split it out into something else, then I realized, okay, I still need a way to display and read the audio and display, and I still need a way to drive the servos. So that's where that came from. Technically, if I had I wouldn't need an ESP. I wouldn't need this microcontroller just to drive the servos. But since the servo driver was designed to work with that microcontroller, that seems like makes sense. In other words, I wouldn't need an ESP32 to actually do that. I could do that with something smaller, but since that was what it was made to work with, it's kind of how I ended up with an Uno, because that's what it was made to work with. I could have this device is actually, the Movi is actually a serial device. All I would have needed to do really is find the serial pins that it uses and hook it up. But it just seemed like it was easier the way it was originally designed. But you notice there are two big power blocks, one for the Movi, one for the TV, and then there's a USB hub thing, a powered USB hub. I would love to be able to run it all off of one 12-volt power supply. That would be awesome.
It's an impressive USB power strip. That thing sets you back.
$8. I found that on eBay, I know 5 years ago.
Huh.
It's 3 amps. I think the two top ports are 3 amps and everything else is an amp and a half.
Yeah.
It's meant for it to be a charger. That's what it was meant for. So
I've got a nice little 3-port one that I take with me everywhere. It's got the magnetic cables for these phone or iPhone or iPad. This thing charges it as PC.
really,
Yeah, that kind of surprised me.
this I bought this specifically for doing remote projects, not for not for to be a charger or anything. I bought specifically for stuff like this. I think I've got 2 of them. I'm just not sure where the other one is. It sort of kind of disappeared. Huh? A little saddened by that.
No,
So that's
official TrueNAS screen light.
my tablet doesn't have USB-C at all. I mean, so yours is definitely newer. It's got a 7th
It
gen.
used to be a plastic bottle.
It's got a 7th gen processor. It's definitely newer.
Yeah,
That used to be a plastic bottle.
So what do you think, Vicente? Did I make something actually okay? Or did
You can mount this in a robot with wheels.
Yeah, we'll put it
Turn
up
around.
here. I carried it in here. I carried it in here on this wagon that you can't see. That's
Okay, something
There.
like that.
and we'll carry it. I could mount it on that maybe. We definitely need a makerspace now. I don't think I'm going to take that one apart. I think that's going to sit on a shelf and be pretty.
Right.
The list of phrases coming from.
Okay, so the phrases are the Harvard words or Harvard sentences, which are used to test voice over IP and RF connections and something else. But I thought since they're testing phrases, they might work good for this purpose. Hey, Mr. Ray, are you still in China?
Yes,
Right.
Way funny.
yes.
A note saying there was you could get really good prices in Sichuan, China, but there's some American guy came by there's jacking up the prices.
Yeah, they saw my face coming and they were just like, oh, price is going up. Oh, shitheads. So,
What are you buying us?
He didn't buy
well,
us.
I was
Went up.
looking at buying all kinds of stuff, and it's Arduino boards and shields and Raspberry Pi 4s and the 5-stack stuff. But yeah, as soon as I came in, they started looking on eBay and looking on Alibaba. And yeah, it was the good price on eBay, but still, I could get free shipping and have it delivered there for like 5% less than what they were offering me the price.
That's actually kind of crazy. They jacked the price up that much.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, very expensive. This item is expensive and very valuable. Yeah, right. That's why there's 10 more people, 10 more vendors down here selling the same stuff. Yeah. So
Here it's awful hard to find a deal over there anymore. Tech malls or whatever.
So I'm at the hotel. I'm actually getting ready to go down to have breakfast, get on a subway, whatever, bus. Take the bus for an hour to get to the train station, take the train station for 4 hours to get to an airplane, actually to get to Shanghai. Then I got to take a taxi for an hour to get to the train or the airport, then take an airplane for 14 hours to get home.
Woohoo.
Actually, I'm not even going home. I'm going to Myrtle Beach. So I got to go to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and then I guess I got to take something else to go from Fayetteville Airport to the hotel. My hotel, somebody else is going to pick me up, take me down to Myrtle Beach. So
You'll be home in a few days, though.
yeah.
You going to a show?
I'll be back in the United States in less than a day, less than 24 hours.
He's going on vacation. You weren't here last week, so you don't know. He's going on vacation. After his vacation, he's going on vacation.
I figured that China would be work related, right?
Well, it's his working vacation, yeah.
Yeah.
Pick me up one of these, would you?
Yeah.
What's that?
John's Bow N2 case. When all is said and done, it'll be a 40 terabyte RAID in 9 inches square.
Holy crap.
With 4 2.5 gigabit ports.
You.
Across the back, 4 2.5 gig Ethernet ports. I'm going into a switch and coming out of the switch at 10 gigabit. At the moment, I'm connecting to it at gigabit. But
Yeah. Give me a cheap 10 gigabit switch while you're there too.
yeah, that would be handy.
Approximate weight, 25 pounds.
Yeah, this thing is the densest piece of hardware I've ever put together. At least,
The cube of the borders.
Yeah, exactly.
All the drive.
Star Trek cube.
It's not working.
What?
I killed it.
who knows?
I just said the camera's not working. The camera's not working.
It's,
Who's trying to? Zap.
Yeah.
Magic blue smoke.
Watch sparks come out.
it is much, much quieter.
Is it? What's it sound like now?
Less.
Less.
Got
I'm just curious. But I'm saying it'd probably still be quieter than what my fridge is gonna be when I get done with it. Instead of what I bought.
Oh, that's.
Moby booting.
Well, yeah, I got money tied in mine too. All the drugs yet.
Moby is
For
ready.
me,
The call sign is
every
computer.
hour, or every payday, I get one. That's that's a hill I'll die on. Don't buy your drives all at once.
This is a demo of some of the hard sentences. My call sign is computer. You can say female, male, read next, random, again,
That's-
previous,
that's work.
held. The boy was there when the sun rose. A rod is used to catch pink salmon. The source of the huge river is the clear spring. Kick the ball straight and follow through. Help the woman get back to her feet. A pot of tea helps to pass the evening. Smoky fire, flat flame, and heat. The soft cushion broke the man's fall. The salt brief came across from the sea. The girl at the booth sold 50 bonds.
The one thing about this camera, even at the house, I had pictures of the grandkids behind me and it got so confused. So the more people that are around it, more confused it.
The small pup gnawed a hole in the top. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. Two blue fish swam in the tank.
I was just trying to see.
The purse was full of useless trash.
Clock on a different face.
The girl reared and threw the tall rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. Read verse out loud for pleasure.
Read this out loud for pleasure. Okay, goodbye. How you decide to reset?
It was like, just looking around, it just did. Like, looking up for some reason.
I've had some interesting issues with the camera.
It's got its own attitude,
It does.
goes to the machine.
Have you got an IEC cable, standard IEC?
There might be one in the drawer there.
It's all quiet, then I'd have to have one. Steve, right side around.
If it's all quiet, then Steve just found something I have to go and buy.
I'm trying really hard to resist it, but I battery off probably already pulled the trigger too. 2.5 gig on it.
At this point, I'm going to build another one in probably 2 years. And I'll go up to the next motherboard. One that was $20 more.
Yeah,
I regret not spending the $20.
I thought it was out of stock, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably still out of stock, though, isn't it?
No, It's all one finally.
And it's all, what, 2.5.
Oh, it's the same motherboard, but it's a Celeron 6105 or something instead of 5105.
Yeah, so the chip's higher.
Yeah.
Similar.
Oh my God. Now I'm getting at least one email a day. Since you looked at this.
Yeah, AliExpress.
Yeah.
There's 2 chips off AliExpress. I got spam mail for like 5 days straight and just junk. Emails a day.
Compare with your previous purchase.
Yes.
Yeah. Buy this lingerie.
Yeah, who knows about Mimo? I got a Mimo camera. My router is Mimo, of course. And I got a camera that's Mimo, and they're selling external antennas. It's a little square like this, it looks like, and it comes with 2 cables. Okay. Yeah, everybody know why it has 2 cables? You don't have one antenna at a time.
Okay.
That's supposed to be better, and it's got like, it claims 44 dB gain.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I know. Awful lot, but I wonder, is that because of MIMO, or is it because there are 2 antennas in there? And most of the MIMO things they sell are for routers, because your router actually has like 4 or 5 different antennas. Okay, and that's the MIMO function. Okay, due to the MIMO function. But then I started looking. I said, "Can I use this, a 2 antenna MIMO, for my camera, which has 2 antennas on it, and it's MIMO. It's 2SX whatever MIMO." Okay. Hey, so I ordered one.
Ray took a picture of the camera store.
All right. Oh yeah, Ray.
They're free, right?
The free camera store.
Do they have real link?
Oh, he's making more pictures.
I don't know. I thought, Jim, he'll think this is pretty freaking cool.
That's
So
pretty rowdy there.
I'm all hooked up and working. I don't want to figure out how to do it. I sat there looking at all that stuff we got from the auction a couple months back, and it's like, we got like 8 cameras in it. So I just want them deployed and installed.
Ray's putting pictures in the chat. I'm all of a sudden I can't get to the chat. What the heck?
Oh,
Dave,
You're gonna cancel that. Or download the emojis, but that's your call.
I don't want emojis. I don't need emojis.
Okay, what's the
This
picture?
is like
Second.
electronics Disneyland.
There's some Arduino stuff.
Oh my God.
this is, I don't know if I don't believe you're coming home, dude.
Wow.
This is like Disneyland East. For Ray.
What is that? Filament?
Wire.
Wire.
I'll take some mag wire.
What gauge you need?
Oh, they're a bit picky.
We've
Drones.
got a 5-pound spool of 32 gauge. And
The drone store.
I just always
yeah, there's like drones everywhere.
Any quiet drones?
They had everything.
Oh, the nut and bolt store. Ray shops the store.
I walked up to one place and I thought, what is this? This is a bag of something. It was like a million capacitors. They were like 0204s or 0102s. I was like, holy crap.
Flashlights and more flashlights.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite places.
Oh crap, here goes Leroy.
RC controllers and RC cars.
We need handcuffs for Leroy. Yeah.
And that doesn't even show the Lego versions.
Leroy
Here it
sent
come-
a big old long list of stuff and said, I have $100. Spend it wisely. Did
Okay,
you?
so here comes a picture. I want you guys to realize how big this place is, okay? Think about Trader's World Flea Market. All
Yeah.
right.
With 4
Every
levels.
booth is electronics. Okay. Some way, somehow, whether it's drones or computers or LEDs or capacitors or just a booth full of chips. I mean, boxes, reels full of chips. And, so you got the entire Trader's World Flea Market full of that stuff. Then make it 7 stories tall. Okay.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
And there are 4 major buildings of this. 4 of those. It is just mind blowing. I mean, my head was spinning. I just could not believe how big it was. Just
It's the Mecca.
Well, as I said, what's funny though is that's been around for a little while. There's a guy did a video years ago, just before COVID or so, and he goes and builds like a multimedia recording computer out of just walking around in there and buying parts, and it cost him like $1,500. And he said what's sad is 2 years earlier they'd have done the whole thing for under 200 and been a better computer because prices were so much lower. And I said most of the prices over there now are about what American prices are like on stuff. But people didn't have that kind of money over there then.
Yeah.
I got $1 Arduino in my mailbox.
Dog for Leroy.
No, that's not the dog I want.
What's the thing with the JJ01 on it? What does that shoot?
185 millimeters. Yeah.
No balls.
I was going to
I
say
don't know.
Nerf
Like a
gun,
tank.
but it's not a Nerf gun.
Oh, you're talking about Are you talking about the Walker or the one with the
It's got
cannon wheels?
It's got Meckham wheels. It's
Got a label JJ01, and there are 2 of them back to back, it looks like.
Second from the left.
Oh, yeah. The one JJ01, I can't remember if it was shooting Orbeez or if it was shooting little foam darts. But yeah, there's 2 of them back to back, and they've got mechanism wheels. And they were a lot more expensive than I would have liked. Otherwise, I'd have bought one.
and then there's
Well, it's a lot more expensive.
I kept thinking the whole time I was going through there, it's like I only have limited space in my luggage. I can't do this, And then the my guide that was with me, he's like, "Man, you're gonna come back. We know you're gonna come back. So next time, just plan on spending a bunch of money, and we'll ship it with the laser machine." I was like, "Okay, next time we'll just ship it with the machine." Okay.
just plan on spending a lot of money.
That's the building photo doesn't look right. I picked a bad photo for the building because I've got like 10 times more photos than this.
Chinese Pepsi.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
Chinese Pepsi.
Yeah.
What
The
are those?
last one is coming in. Shows
Button.
the multiple levels.
Oh wow.
Why don't we have something like that around here, Just
That looks like something
It's
out
6 levels.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This building's 6 levels.
I don't understand why like that's never really taken off in the States.
It did. We had malls for a long time. They all,
Well, but I mean, it's electronics, but I mean, they're even in like
But
Silicon Valley, they've never done anything like that, or Fry's was the closest thing you got, and Fry's went over because they got cut off.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Trash and-
We don't, we've got Micro Center and we're lucky to have Micro Center.
Oh, yeah.
We don't shop like that. We shop at
Yeah,
stupid big box stores. And I mean, I took Patty somewhere today and she was looking at the price and she said, I could get the stuff cheaper at Walmart. I'm like, well, yeah, probably because she can.
Yeah.
So that's how we shop. We don't shop where we
yeah.
can actually find the stuff that might actually last. We shop
It's cheap.
at the cheapest place we could find.
But now he's like,
Were you at Walmart today? Were you at
Yes.
Walmart yesterday?
she
Yeah.
stores
Yesterday. No?
together, but they remember that much techie stuff in one spot. That's what I'm trying
Well,
to say.
every place that's even been close to a tech kind of store has failed. Circuit City, what was that? Best
CompUSA.
CompUSA. There was that. Where's that other one?
Son,
Mendelssohn's.
Mendelssohn's.
Mendelssohn's was,
Well, Mendelssohn's was a junk store.
and it lasted a long time. I mean,
Yeah. We got another picture. Two more pictures.
You got
I don't think Mendelssohn went down as much as it was that somebody wanted their buildings.
they wanted the land, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah, they wanted the property to build basically condos across from the ballpark.
Oh, that's Avengers is not electronics, but I appreciate that there's more than just electronics in the electronics mall. No
Well, you
Batman.
know, there's lighting, photography, cameras.
And so it was
You know, the-
anime model shop.
Batman. That's just one shop devoted to Batman.
I mean,
That's
Oh, just one.
I did not take any photos of like the life size anime costumes to make it look like a robot. I did not take pictures of all the computers, the servers, the printers, because my phone has limited storage. I mean, they were looking at me funny anyway because I kept taking photos.
Crazy America. That's what gave you away.
Yeah.
You were taking photos. If you weren't taking photos of everything, you could have gotten stuff cheap.
Yeah. Now they know you're a spy.
Now they know you're a spy.
Yeah.
But,
They take them over here too, so.
We've
We're
Best Buy is still around. But there's really no
I
big
hate Best Buy.
I hate Best Buy. But there's really no electronics stores. I mean,
I try being in other states where there isn't a micro center,
I know.
you know.
That's what I mean. We're lucky. We have a micro
Down
center.
there in Georgia, you can't.
Oh,
even-
I got a good one for you. How many micro center stores do you think there are?
There are
20.
well,
Charleston, you got to drive all the way to Atlanta to get a
There's
freaking.
actually 25 of them.
are there? Wow.
Yeah.
That's more than I thought. I 3 of them are in Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, the headquarters is in Ohio.
The guy that started Micro Center lives in Hillsboro.
Okay.
Really?
Yep.
Columbus, I think, was the first micro center.
Well, Hillsboro's
Well, it's
pretty-
also the headquarters.
No,
Hillsboro-
actually, I think that Cincinnati was the first one,
well,
but Columbus is the biggest one.
I don't know, unless they've remodeled Columbus. Columbus was pretty small.
They moved.
Did they move it?
Yeah, they're They're
in their own space now.
in a different spot.
Okay,
Is it still on Bethel Road?
Little store.
I don't remember the name of the road it's on. I can find out. Give me a moment.
It's got a Bethel Road address, and it's at the kind of at the corner of Bethel Road and Old Tansy River Road.
I remember
Okay. That's not where
Yes, it is. I've been up there before. I've been to about 8 of the different micro centers.
yeah.
I
As
remember
far as I know, Fry's Electronics is still open over on the West Coast.
Absolutely not.
just
They're not?
not
All
a-
prize shops have been closed down for about 3 years now.
Whoa.
there was
I'm
one or two that ran as a online store for a little bit while, but yeah, they're all gone during
You've got,
last year of COVID.
Actually, it was gone before COVID.
So they couldn't get,
They had problems, business problems. COVID was just the end of the line.
supposedly they changed distributors. And the other distributors never delivered any supplies.
Yeah,
So I think what they did is they pissed off China's shipping company and they said, nope, you get no more stuff.
well, you couldn't, the last year, the one was here in Fremont. There was no inventory on the shelves. You'd have seasonal stuff like, you know,
Chairs.
Christmas trees. You also had white goods, because the one here in Fremont, they sold washers and dryers and dishwashers and so forth and so on.
But the last year I went to DEF CON before COVID closed everything. They shipped everything from their California stores and Oregon stores so that it looked like they could have stock, but all they had were computer cases, like 3 CPU chips, like 4 or 5 hard drives, and the rest of it was like computer chairs and computer cases on one half of the whole floor. That's all they had.
you remember when,
I was like, this is crazy.
when CompUSA went out of business, Micro Center bought a bunch of their inventory and then
Yeah.
sold it really, really cheap,
Yeah,
really cheap.
I got a power supply tester for $2.
I bought, this was the time when CDs were still a thing, and I bought a whole spindle of 100 CDs for like $5 or something. They were all CompUSA.
Okay,
Right.
Ray, what's with the serial port? $1.40? Damn.
Yeah. There was like a USB to Bluetooth was $1.40. Oh man, USB to Lightning, you know, these other cables were like $1.50. $1.60. And I mean they're absolutely $20 in the United States. I was like, you know, for some of these boxed prepackaged stuff, oh my gosh, I would be stupid not to buy it. I was like, I will find some place to put this in my luggage. So yeah, I bought some USB cables and like a USB 3.0 hub switch, whatever you can call it, and some other stuff. Just little stuff. I don't think I spent $20, but again, I'm extremely limited on space.
Get you a car computer interface.
I did. I bought a
Yeah, OBD2. Not scanner.
it's a
but computer.
no, I didn't get a scanner. I bought you're thinking of OBD2.
OBD, not a scanner, but the actual computer where you jack it in and run the software.
I already have one of those.
studies for your cards.
Yeah, I got one of those already.
They get $19 or something now. If you can even find them over here online from over there,
I
want $300 or $400 and they want to install the software remote. I'm like, no, that's not how I want you guys to do that.
I was watching.
Nah, I bought like the audio Bluetooth receiver, and man, they have everything. So I mean, my mind was spinning, and I didn't know what to do. Hey guys, I gotta get going. I go grab a little bit of food and meet my person downstairs, and go hop on a train or something. Bus.
Thanks, Ray. Have a safe trip home, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'll see you
Yeah.
guys.
See you soon.
Well, whenever.
Yeah.
Later.
Take care.
That's when we were expecting it. Yeah. Bye.
Hope he brought us Christmas gifts.
It's almost wrap up time anyway. I've been getting the signal. So, but
The signal.
the signal that it's almost time.
Flashy lights.
The flashy lights haven't happened because there's a sticker on the thing that says don't mess with the flashy lights.
We got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
I think people are lining up to come in now.
Turns out this one switch controls these lights and the ones over their desk.
Yeah.
I have a $1 Arduino here.
$1 Arduino.
Yeah.
Cool. It's not.
See?
USB-C?
Looks like it.
Is that an Uno? What is it?
Let me show you. Share the screen.
You can hang on.
Enable it.
Okay, you should be able to share the screen because I didn't do that earlier.
I wish you could set that as the default. Because I always forget.
You see this?
552.
A timer?
We act
This use
learning development board. It's learning anything.
yes.
Well, you'd be learning how to use.
The good thing you can make a keyboard or a mouse or a macro keypad with this. It includes the USB driver,
Okay,
so it's very easy to make anything that connects to your computer. This is the 16K of ROM, 1K RAM, 1K to 280. And you can have, this is an offer, but I pay $1.16 for 2 of them for each. $1.16 plus $2 shipping. So was like $4 for 2 of them.
okay,
But
that's not
it's
horrible.
crazy.
$2 each for 1, $2 each for 2.
99 cents for 50.
Yep.
Nice.
There's a line outside.
Yeah, I think people are lining up. I think we gotta
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, we better
All right.
make plans. All
I
right, see
I
ya.
will see everybody next week. We're virtual.
Okay,
That's correct.
see you all.
Bye.